A little relief is coming for those who rely on SNAP. The Trump administration says it'll partially fund benefits this month using emergency contingency funds.
This is going to help families purchase some of their own food, but they won't be able to get as much as they have in previous months or what they may be entitled to.
It means some help will resume for about 42 million Americans who depend on this program, though not in full.
It's not going to necessarily make them whole. It won't be like a normal month. So they'll get some benefits, which are immensely helpful.
Colin Bishop is with Feed More Western New York.
The amount that SNAP provides in terms of nutritional assistance to this community is enormous.
He says while the partial funding helps, it doesn't fix everything.
It's been a substantial increase in terms of the number of people looking for nutritional assistance.
Demand is expected to increase at Feed More even more.
SNAP provides 9 meals for every meal we can provide. So that's a big difference to make up. Even again, we don't know how much that partial payment is. We'll still need to make up a difference this month that we're not used to.
As questions remain about when benefits could show up or how much a person will receive, Feed More continues its mission to serve the community.
Because we know that there will still be additional people in need of service in November, we're making sure that the 400 partner agencies we work with around our service area have everything they need.
With Federal Home Energy Assistance Program or HEAP funds paused because of the government shutdown, families across Western New York are in a tough spot. But local utilities, including NYSEG, are stepping in.
We know that this is affecting millions of Americans, and we know that it affects a lot of our customers. So the important thing for people to know is that there is help available.
HEAP is a federal program that helps low-income households pay their heating bills, giving families a credit or grant toward their energy cost each winter. Meanwhile, EAP, or the Energy Affordability Program, is a statewide program run by utility companies like NYSEG. It offers monthly bill credits or discounts for families who meet income requirements, and many of the same households that qualify for HEAP qualify for this program too.
That's a really important lifeline for customers because that allows them, especially as we get into the winter season when bills are typically higher, it gives them a credit on their account. NYSEG also offers an automatic enrollment called EAP, the Energy Assistance Program. It's an added credit onto customers' account. In
2023 alone, millions of New Yorkers relied on HEAP, receiving nearly $44 million in benefits.
70% of households that receive HEAP have children in the household under the ages of 6. There's also, within that group, many customers who are 60 and above or an individual with a disability. So we know that this affects many vulnerable populations.
Eligibility is based on income, household size, and other factors. NYSEG encourages everyone to check if they qualify, and you can check your eligibility online or by calling their customer service.
Mayor-elect Sean Ryan seems to know what he wants for his top administration staff.
We want to cast a net to see if we can bring some former Buffalonians home. And if anybody who's never lived here before wants to come and apply their expertise, we're happy to consider them as a candidate.
And he also seems to know what he doesn't want.
So the characteristics we were looking for was people who weren't part of the city's current status quo, people who will come in to give a fresh and open assessment and to be able to bring the skills that they have.
He also says an era of perceived patronage is ending.
This is going to be unlike probably any other political transition. There are not people slotted for these jobs that we're interviewing for. They're going to come through the process. They're going to show their credentials. And if somebody with better credentials applies, that's who's getting hired.
But Acting Mayor Scanlon has some words of advice for the mayor-elect.
How much time you got?
Go for it. Hit those highlights, if you will.
Govern for all. Yeah. Make sure you are not acquiescing to a vocal minority. There's almost 300,000 people in this city, and my recommendation would be to govern for all.
Scanlon also cautioned about all the metaphorical fires that pop up on a daily basis.
I can tell you during the last year, that's the one thing that I noticed more than anything was how many things pop up throughout the day you're not planning for. And if you do not have a team set up that can address those things everything else you're trying to do will be derailed.
He also went to the defense of those who helped him run the city for the last year or so.
And I would tell the city of Buffalo one thing that they will be missing out on moving forward is the quality of some of the people in our administration that probably won't be around, that are just tremendous individuals, tremendous Buffalonians, tremendous public servants that aren't going to be a part of the team moving forward. But I know that they'll continue to contribute to Buffalo and whatever their next endeavors are.
Scanlon also wants city residents to know that just because there's news about transition teams and new administrations, his work hasn't finished.
We've talked all along about the things like the parking authority, finalizing things there and getting things set up so they can bond out for the money early next year. Things like that, just another couple other initiatives that we've got to get across the finish line before the end of the year.
Lauren, riding that Democratic wave of support in Erie County Democratic Party Chair Jeremy Zellner has now announced he plans to run for the 61st state Senate seat that will soon be vacated by Buffalo mayoral-elect Sean Ryan.
My plan is to resign from the Board of Elections in January and seek the Democratic and Working Families nominations for New York State Senate for the 61st District.
The announcement from Party Chair Jeremy Zellner comes after months of speculation and even denial back in February.
That is a far-fetched rumor that's been out there, and, some people can try to believe that.
A rumor that just 12 hours after election night, he confirmed.
We need fighters who are going to stand up for our middle class and working families like never before. We are under attack from Washington.
Zellner, a lifelong resident of Tonawanda, said he would be that fighter and has the backing of the people and political leaders whom as party chair he is very connected. Zellner would resign his post as Erie County Board of Elections Commissioner and recuse himself from the nominating process, which during the push for Sean Ryan for Buffalo mayor drew some skepticism.
Who's to say that your name wasn't slipped in there, this wasn't being concocted?
Rob, there was just no conspiracy here where there was a deal for this or that. We went through a full process. The voters have the say here, and they're going to have the say in this district next year.
There will be 3 chances to have that say, with state law requiring first a special election likely to be held in February, followed by a primary and then general election next November, which means time is short for both Zellner and previously announced candidate Assemblyman John Rivera to get the message out. Zellner had committed to not making an announcement until after election night and after he saw the results of the Buffalo mayoral race. 12 hours later, he followed through. Reporting on your side in Tonawanda, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News.
The future of the Boulevard Mall was something that was near and dear to my heart in 2017 when I was running for town supervisor to begin with. Seeing it come to some, I won't say conclusion, but come to some head before I leave office in my term limit, it's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
Amherst Town Supervisor Brian Culpa says on Monday the town board could approve next steps for the Boulevard Mall. The plan is for Benderson Development to take over as the main developer instead of Douglas Jamal. If approved, the town of Amherst will acquire the Boulevard Mall through eminent domain.
I think people are excited. They want to see something come back to that site. The site's a problem for us. The opportunity loss is tremendous right now. It's 64 prime acres, and with it comes the vitality of the boulevard in that area of Eggertsville and Sweet Home, right? The sort of where the two communities connect.
Culpa says Benderson Development will demolish the mall and create space for new development, including a community center, a park, as well as retail space and housing.
We've continuously seen new development come online, and that new development pays a high tax. If we want to keep our tax rate low for residents and we want to have really great facilities and we want to have really great services, then we need to keep growing.
Hurricane Melissa has come and gone, but the Green family of Buffalo remains stranded at Moon Palace.
We left to come to Jamaica on Wednesday, October 22nd.
And planned to leave October 26th before the hurricane. Their flight was canceled on JetBlue.
I'm just really ready to get home.
This is some of what they endured during the storm.
Me and the wife bunkered down, but it's hitting and happening.
It was a couple of ordeals where ceilings fell and a couple of areas flooded, a brief fire. We endured a lot.
They're now paying the extension rate at the resort.
We don't mind paying, the extension rate because, families here were tremendously affected by the hurricane. I mean, the devastation is incredible.
But that's going to change to the full rate of $6.50 a night. So far, they've had 4 canceled flights, the latest being Monday. The Montego Bay Airport suffered major damage.
No damage to the runways, but there were just certain sections where the roof fell in.
The Greens call it a stressful situation.
We've been through blizzards. I've been through, the blizzard of 77. But a Category 5 hurricane, just hearing the constant wind and not knowing if something's going to fall in on you or, what's going on outside. It's a different type of trauma that brings.
It is.
Versus a blizzard. And I don't want to experience it again. And again, we just really want to get home.
Yes, nearly a decade in the making, but what will be the winds of change instead of these gales of November will soon be blowing over the expanse of this former vineyard in Fredonia, from which a first-class healthcare facility will rise. The intent to build a new hospital to replace Dunkirk's Brooks Memorial, portions of which date back more than 80 years, was announced in 2016. But as those behind the plan were getting ready to move forward, the COVID pandemic hit. The state, which had committed $74 million, never released the money, but last year the governor said it finally would. And with more recent assurance the money would still be there, despite proposed federal changes to Medicaid reimbursement, which may impact the state, those behind the plans were comfortable enough to finally move forward. As one might imagine, due to rising prices for materials and labor, the projected costs are significantly higher than what had been initially estimated 9 years ago. So what kind of hospital can you build these days for $223 million? We're told a pretty good one.
The hospital will have 15 med-surg beds as well as 5 observation beds. Our plan includes expanding our ED services from 9 bays to 16 bays. The plan will include surgical services with 3 OR rooms and 3 procedure rooms.
And in a way of speaking, he says the effort to build a new place to improve health services for residents actually improves the health of the healthcare system here.
The opportunity to enhance quality and enhance our systems positions our healthcare system for a much better future than it does in our current state.
The new Northern Chautauqua Hospital will be built behind the Fredonia Walmart near the intersections of Routes 20 and 60, about 2 miles away from the existing one. They hope to begin construction next year and hope to have it open in 2028. So, what happens to the old place? Well, it's been about 9 years since they had to really think about that. So they're going to re-engage with the community now to find out what its best use will be going forward. On your side in Dunkirk, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
This warning went out because the Broadway Market got a call from a woman who didn't want to be scammed. So thanks to that phone call, hopefully other business owners won't fall for it.
The woman asked about the holiday extravaganza, saying she saw a Facebook post trying to get money from vendors who sign up.
We have a great holiday event in December, but we don't call it holiday extravaganza.
So on Monday, the Broadway Market posted this warning on Facebook telling people there was no holiday shopping extravaganza on December 20th or 21st, saying, "We believe this post was created to scam vendors into sending money for a non-existent event." The Broadway Market asked for the post to be removed from the page it was on, and it's gone now.
So this is the first time it's happened for us at the market, and the terrible part is if someone went through, there's a couple results. One, they ended up paying for something that doesn't exist, more expensive than ours. 2, we wouldn't know, so they'd be coming into the market looking for a space or whatever, and we'd be like, sorry.
A big red flag, the potential scammers were asking for payment via Venmo or Apple Pay. The Broadway Market only accepts checks or money orders from vendors.
And you do not pay online. And watch out, check out those postings just as this woman did, because she would have ended up paying $80 a day for a non-existing event.
So if you're interested in being a vendor here, call the office directly, and all the information is posted on the Broadway Market's official website and social media pages. On your side, Kelly Dudzik, Channel 2 News.
A man accused of attempted kidnapping and luring a child admitted to the crime today in Erie County Court. Shane Cronin of Illinois pleaded guilty today to several serious charges, including attempted kidnapping, luring a child, endangering the welfare of a child, burglary, and attempted assault. The incident happened back in February at Charles R. Drew Science Magnet School in Buffalo. Prosecutors say Cronin entered the school without permission, attempted to lure and abduct an 8-year-old student, and punched a school employee who tried to intervene.
There will be some significant input by the victims in this case. And that certainly includes the school and the employees of the school, not just the teacher, but I know the principal of that school was heavily involved in this case, and obviously the family of that little girl. Certainly we're relieved that Cronin accepted responsibility and that we're not going to have to put this family back through the trauma of her almost being kidnapped from this school.
The case sparked national attention after Buffalo Police Detective Richard Hyde discussed it on the Unsubscribed podcast. He accused the district of trying to cover up the incident and raised concerns about other alleged abuse and assault cases. Buffalo Public Schools previously told Two on Your Side it denies Hyde's claims, but said it's moving forward with an independent third-party investigation. As for Cronin, he's back in court on January 21st at 9:30 in the morning. On Your Side at Old County Hall, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
We've done a lot of stories about the military mission here at the Air Base, but now there's also a holiday appeal mission that's going on in support of the active duty military who are stationed here. This letter sent out by the Air Base Friends of Family Support Association to explain their shutdown situation.
The letter that we're sending out to members in the community, the businesses and corporations asking for support, that's geared for all the employees at the installation here. They are all being affected, not only the service members, but the civilians and the contractors as well.
Active duty military members at the base did get 2 previous paychecks, but there's uncertainty, especially for the lower paid enlisted ranks, about the November 15th pay date.
We have people that enlisted at the age of 18 that are now being affected by this. Again, they're not, as financially prepared as some of the older service members. Everyone's at different phases of their life.
The lives of some 1,600 civilian Air Base staffers like Betsy Russell and even additional civilian contractors obviously affected without their government paychecks.
It's challenging. You really have to concentrate on your finances. You have to narrow down priorities, reach out to your utilities, your landlords, your mortgage companies, and see if they'll work with you. But prioritizing, where your funds go. And it can get very challenging when you have to put food on the table and feed and put diapers on an infant. The morale is definitely affected. The only good thing is we're all in this together. So we're leaning on each other. We are all serving in different capacities here because we, believe in the mission, and that's our priority.
We'll be posting more information about how others can help on this Air Base assistance effort, especially with the upcoming holidays, at WGRZ.com. Ron Plants, Channel 2 News.
Hey there, with that winter weather on the way, it's time to start thinking about winterizing your home and your car if you haven't already. Businesses like Fox Tire here in Buffalo say that this is somewhat of their Super Bowl. This is the time of year where businesses that service cars and homes in Buffalo will see an influx in customers as people get ready for the harsh winters ahead. One of the first things many people might think about doing is changing their tires to snow tires, which means it's a busy season at car repair and service shops across Western New York. But it's not just your car. Many homeowners this time of year think about servicing their homes. Before the cold really sets in, it's a good idea for homeowners to check their homes for drafts, frozen pipes, and furnace issues.
This time of year this is our Super Bowl. We do probably about 25-30% of our business these last 2 months. So this is everything right now.
Start getting ready to change your filter. Checking if you have a high efficiency furnace, making sure that your condensate pump's working, that you have proper airflow through your ductwork, your registers are open. Just simple things like that that a homeowner can do will just make sure that your system is running in tip-top shape for sure.
Experts say staying on top of basic maintenance now doesn't just keep you warm, it can also extend the life of your system and help avoid emergency repair costs down the line. And of course, we're not expecting a large amount of snow these next few days, but it is a good reminder that it's better to be safe than sorry this winter. On your side, Alyssa Clausel, Channel 2 News.
If you look at earlier today and now looking ahead into tonight, about a dozen flights to and from Buffalo were canceled on this day. They were to and from the nation's 40 busiest airports where the federal government has ordered traffic to be reduced for safety reasons. Now, this is impacting those who are trying to get to and from places like Chicago, New York, Newark, Philadelphia, Boston, and other major hubs. As the day started, the U.S. Secretary of Transportation noted that the only flights being canceled are domestic ones, not overseas, and he explained why.
We have international agreements that we abide by. And because of those international agreements, I'm not going to impact those international flights. And because if I do, what will happen is we have other countries that are waiting to have a breach of those contracts from the U.S. so they can cut down American flights, and that would have a very long-lasting impact.
Which, of course, this means for those living in big cities, near those major airports that have international flights, they might be fine. But again, here in Buffalo, where you got to fly to one of those big hubs first in order to get on the plane going overseas, well, that's a problem. For example, we had met this man who didn't want to speak on camera. He's not going to make his flight to Liberia because he can't get to New York after the 3 flights upon which he tried to get to the Big Apple today had all been canceled. And on that note, I just checked down to the rental car counter here, and that's starting to get busy as people try and find alternate means to maybe get someplace else to get their travel plans back on track. Look, it's a fluid situation, and so the best advice that we can give you right now, just keep checking the app you have downloaded probably from your airline to see what's going on with your individual flight. We'll have an update for you again next hour, though. But for now, reporting live from the Buffalo Airport, on your side, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
The Hochul-Stefanik showdown for the governor's mansion in 2026 has been brewing for some time. You may recall this exchange last June during a congressional hearing on immigration issues.
We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
rather than going after the viral moment. I suggest you look at the facts.
And we've seen both of them here in Western New York over the summer.
We're getting encouragement, whether it's Western New York, the North Country, Long Island, or New York City.
Governor, do you think it's going to be a mean campaign against Representative Stefanik? What do you think about her?
I've been in 16 elections. I'm always successful, and I'm looking forward to putting my agenda out there against whoever it is.
All we need is a courageous leader.
So now it's official, with Representative Elise Stefanik launching her campaign with a series of radio talk show interviews and a social media campaign spot, naturally ripping Hochul's record on a variety of issues. Hochul's team firing right back. National figures and issues again as factors in a statewide race.
Rightly or wrongly, Stefanik is going to be painted as somebody who is a Trump acolyte and someone who's very closely linked with the administration. Certainly, there's enough evidence there to suggest that. And I think that that's going to be a net detriment to her in his place in New York.
And on the other side, Republicans already tying Hochul to a newly elected New York City mayor with a message for more conservative voters.
The timing of this announcement from Stefanik is not an accident at all. She waited until after, for a number of reasons, but after Mamdani's victory, to talk about how closely Mamdani is identified with the Democratic Party and by extension with Kathy Hochul. So I think that that's their play, and they think that that's going to work out for them as a messaging strategy.